All right, let's start the show with the Cavs and the Knicks series. Before you walked in the door, Brad, G and I are really nervous about this series.
You should be.
I don't know where you are on the panic meter. I'm not panicking.
I don't know the panic meter.
But I'm very concerned. I think this is a bad matchup. Of the 5, 6, 7, 8s, I would have much rather. Now, obviously, the 5 is considered the better team, but this is going to be interesting for the Cavaliers. Biggest X factor for you will be what or whom?
Well, I just think, first of all, let me just preface what I'm about to tell you.
Okay. You don't have to give your pick yet.
No. I'm not concerned because I have the Cavs. I've always had the Cavs winning.
Okay.
4-2, right? A 4-5 matchup is always the toughest matchup.
It is.
It really is the toughest matchup.
I think the 5's going to win the series out west.
So in this case here, and I don't even put money on the home court because if you watch it in the play-in, the home court is not really having an effect here.
No.
Your biggest X factor for the Cavaliers is just this: if Donovan Mitchell plays like he's supposed to play, and you bought what you thought you were buying, that's enough to get you over the Knicks. Because the Knicks, at some point, and for folks in the NBA who follow this thing, the Knicks at some point are going to turn into the Knicks. It's a guarantee.
The Knicks are going to Knicks.
They're going to turn into the Knicks at some point here. They're having a great season, right?
They are.
But they're still the Knicks, right? And that's what, and you can listen to the bravado out of New York.
Yeah. And there's plenty of it.
That's their biggest fear because they're waiting for this thing. They've seen it.
They have.
I've seen it with Cartwright and Ewing.
Yankees.
I've seen the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the thing implode on them, right? And because when it comes down on a ton of bricks. My biggest fear is this: making sure that no one gets shell-shocked early. Because the game and a half, to put everything right, we better get game 1 out the box.
You aren't kidding.
You better get game 1 out the box.
You give the Knicks game 1, and I will change the way I look at the series.
I love that, man. You did that right there, man. That first game.
You like that?
I like that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel a little better because I thought I was the only one feeling like that. But, you come in here and that's what happens. I'm going to say it. Like,
who's your X factor?
X factor, I'm going to go with Isaac Okoro.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm under the preface that I'm rotating people up out of here quick. I don't got no time. There's no time. Sometimes.
How deep are you going? Typically, the playoff roster is 8 and no more.
8.
9 guys will get in trouble.
8. And somebody, so Lamar Stevenson and Isaac Okoro is the same person, give or take. So if you play
it's 8.5 then.
Yeah. So if you play one of them, the other one ain't playing in the series. So I'm gonna go with 8. I'm gonna go with Jetty. I'm gonna go with Karis LeVert, obviously, and then I got Ricky Rubio. Everybody else, we're gonna have to figure it out. So that means your bigs can't be in foul trouble, and that means if you're gonna start Brunson, Isaac Okoro, you need him to limit the ability to get to the basket and things like that. And here's the biggest X factor: can you hit your open threes? If he's not hitting his open threes, you might need to see somebody do something like this. And you hear, Mark Jackson, and they're putting Danny Green in the starting lineup. It's like you're like, what happened? Danny Green is starting. But that's a Ty Lue move. Ty Lue used to just be like, you know what, Kevin Love, you're not playing. We was like, what? What you mean Kevin Love ain't playing? Who you gonna play there? Nope. We're gonna go with Tristan Thompson. So the rotation to me is huge, Jay, because we go 8 deep, and I like the fact that the Knicks bench is better than ours.
Yeah, you like that?
Yes, because then, what that makes you none of your starters can take off. So now
you think it puts pressure in a good way on the Cavs starters?
So who off the Knicks bench are you impressed with?
I like them as a collective.
Well, give me the collective.
Well, but the thing is, like, once you get to this point, how deep will Tibbs' rotation go?
This is a matchup game. This is based on here. This is not based on 82 games. This is based in the minute. How the next 5 minutes go.
Sure.
Right? Because if this thing goes like it's supposed to go, if Donovan Mitchell does what he's supposed to do, leading the way, and the others follow, I don't need you to do more than you can do. Just do what you do. Right? Jarrett Allen, you stand there and block some shots and give me some rebound. Evan Mobley, do what you do since the All-Star break. Just do that, right? And then Karis LeVert, don't fade away on me. Since the All-Star game, since the trade deadline, you've been money, right? Stay money on me. Stay money on me, right?
Do you need anybody else to be a wingman? You need anybody else to?
Well, it would be helpful if I had a wingman, but here, I'm playing with what I got, right? So what I got is a dude who can go, right? I'm not sitting out here fooling around because sometimes these coaches, Pat Riley comes to mind, like he had that book, Born to Coach. How about Born to Overcoach, right? Don't do it. Here's the deal. I have a closer, right? Darius Garland. You got to play. You got to deliver. You can't disappear on me.
Oh,
right?
that's where I was going.
Don't disappear on me here.
That's where I was going.
I mean, they're all important when you get down to it.
Here, but that's how we've won.
Sure.
That same way. Don't get out of that. It used to be a time, Jay, when you played in the NBA playoff, it went to a defensive presence in the game. The game went from a high-scoring game like the Pistons.
Are you saying that era's over?
That's gone. That's gone. They've rewritten the rules.
Wait a minute. I mean, I know that it's gone in the regular season, but even in the past few years,
I watched the play-in.
Defense wakes up in April.
I watched the play-in games here, right?
Well, does that count?
Yeah, but here, it's a playoff intensity. It counts.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah,
it's
the elimination games for sure.
But 3 of the 4 playing games, the scoring was way down, though.
No, but
Yes, it was.
They were. They were
Way
down considerably. And
Mikey.
And Minnesota missed a ton of shots. I'm not giving LA all the credit, but the scoring was way down.
No disrespect to you, all right? No disrespect to you, right? There's a cadence to this pro game, right? This ain't the Y, right? We ain't playing that over there, the Y, right? There's a cadence here, right? Defensively, that era is gone. I just saw a highlight the other day with Rodman checking Morning in the post, right? Oh, they don't let you do that no more.
Oh, well, now listen.
That's
there
gone.
are levels to this, though. We're not
course.
talking like the 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
90s.
they used to punch guys in the mouth.
Man, that's when basketball was basketball.
I agree
this ain't
with
no
you
real
on
basketball.
that, but I disagree
playing
with
on
your
me.
overall premise, though, that defense in April is dead. I mean, listen, I couldn't agree more with you in the regular season. In fact, I think, guys, this year, there has been less emphasis on regular season defense. I thought I was watching an all-star game
so
all
let
year.
me ask you this. All right, so if I asked you to name me the top 5 defensive players in
No,
this
it's
league,
not that kind of game anymore.
You couldn't give it to me.
You know why, Brad? Because I think in the regular season, guys have just figured out that defense is optional. It doesn't it remind you of an all-star game? Not quite to that level.
I mean, I can fight these 5.
Outside of All-Star game, they've rewritten the rules so they play a different way.
No, and I get that too. But
those
even in the last few years, when we get to the playoffs and the calendar flips to April, guys start banging bodies again, not to the level of the 80s. I wouldn't even approach that.
Who was banging bodies last year?
I saw teams playing defense in the playoffs last year. McNuggets, am I
Like
crazy?
who?
You guys are both right. Brad's right. The defense, even played well today, is night and day different.
Well,
than
I agree
the
with
early
that
90s, 20s.
I 100%.
80s.
You can't debate that.
No, but I'm saying, so Brad's right in the sense that defense today is not defense then. You're also right that even in today's NBA, regular season defense versus playoff defense are two completely different games. You guys are both right.
There's another notch or two that these defenses can ratchet up. And actually, Brad, I think that plays to our benefit.
Well, here,
I think we're a better defensive unit
you have
than
a
we've
better
shown.
defensive team than what I'm looking at coming out of New York. I'll take Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley,
I will too.
Stevenson. I will take Okoro. I will take
Do you think
Rubio
we're
at times.
Do you think we're going to see things out of these guys in this series that we didn't see regularly in regular season? I hope so.
I'm expecting for some the guys who have been around.
Yeah.
To kind of lead the thing. The other thing I'm not concerned about. Let me change that. I'm not concerned, but I have my eye on, right? Because everybody can panic here. I don't need JB to panic here, right?
No, that's key.
Don't panic here.
Right.
We here now. Because what happened watching these playing games, them coaches was folded up to 10 on the sideline. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And these were guys who were supposed to be well versed. Like Nick Nurse looked awful. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you got a job? How do you even have a job? Minnesota coach basically gave the game back to the Lakers.
Yeah,
I was like,
he was up. I think they was up like 12 points, 15 points.
Darvin Ham for that matter. I was like, what are you doing?
I look at it like this. Now, I will say, you may get an opportunity to see somebody blossom, right? I've been in these. When I watch playoff games, there's always one or two guys who step it up and get to a point where they're saying, this kid is showing us he's a star. I remember Trae Young doing it. I remember Paul George back in the day with the Miami Heat, right?
Guys that haven't established themselves necessarily as stars yet.
Yeah, but they get into them playoffs and they see it and they go after it. Jalen Brunson was a guy last year.
You think Karis LeVert could be that guy?
We're going to see. There's a lot of scripts to be written here.
Mikey, you just told me in my ear, and I
I'm
wasn't.
texting. No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
No, I'm curious. The scoring last year in the playoffs was down?
Compared to the regular season, yeah.
Yeah,
Like in the finals, for example, Golden State in the regular season averaged 111 points per game. In the finals against Boston, which they won, they averaged 103. Boston averaged 111 points in the regular season. They averaged 99.9 points.
So down almost 10 points for both.
Yeah, and now, granted, they each had one terrible shooting game. Golden State only scored.
But Mikey, I attribute that to defense.
I do too. I'm saying it is different. It's just Brad's different.
And
different.
Mikey, I probably don't attribute it to. Okay, there is some defense being played here, but what I attribute it to is the game-by-game adjustments that are being made.
Yeah.
Say you came out and put 115 on me the first day, right?
Right.
The second game, I can't let you come out and put 115 on me. So I'm going to make some junk adjustment here to bring that down, right? And that's what accumulates to the lower scores. Because you're just trying to get out the moment.
In game-to-game situations, you look at like Darius Garland, right? For me, it hinges on what is he going to be able to bring you. Because if you got Donovan Mitchell, he's gonna do what he does. He's been playoff tested.
He's gonna be 30 plus a night, pushing 40 perhaps.
40, yes. Now, if Darius Garland says, "Oh, let me add 25 to that," series done, series over. You can because my defensive guys we gonna ratchet that up. You got 2 rim protectors, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't have in the league. You just need to figure out where you're gonna get enough points to get guys to move, because if you look at the Cavs team, I like what they got an instant offense dude off the bench in Caris LeVert. They got the closer in Donovan Mitchell. It all depends on how Darius Garland is able to feed the bigs and get them involved, so that it puts that pressure on.
Let me say why I believe the biggest game here is game 1.
1,000%.
Right. One, you have to get the win, right? And you get the win not just to start off in the right way. When the Cleveland Cavaliers roll into to Madison Square Garden, if you've never played there in a playoff game, it is like being on Broadway.
I ain't gonna lie.
The crowd is gonna be in a frenzy, and they can get to such a frenzy it can alter the game. Yeah. Right? The other thing I'll tell you, just listen, the whole thing is real. The lights get dimmed in the crowd.
Yep.
The lights are on the court. It's like you being in a play. Then the other thing is you're going to hear that crazy organ going on.
I know, it's crazy.
Shut up. Freaking
as
organ.
A player, what does that do to you mentally?
Right, well, you've been watching it as a kid. You're like, oh, my God, it's iconic. I'm here. This is it, right?
It is.
And what I don't want to see occur, because it can work the other way, Donovan Mitchell, who is from near the area.
He knows it.
He may try to take on the Superman role. I'm about to do this whole thing. I'm like, wait, hold on. I just need you to do what you're doing.
Because it could be intoxicating when you start pulling up, and the Knicks crowd give it to you. They'll be like, oh, they'll be like, he come up with the dagger 3. They're like, oh, like the crowd get quiet. I'm not gonna lie.
Because they're gonna be out for blood that game 3.
Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. They've all said it. When they go to Madison Square, it's different.
That thing's
LeBron especially. LeBron loves
that thing's special.
So a couple of things. I've got my series X factor. I didn't just look at the Cavs. I looked at the series. I think the guy is Julius Randle. Obviously coming off the ankle. What is he going to be? If he's Julius Randle, this is going to be a real mountain climb. If he's not Julius Randle and we still see some remnants of the ankle, then I think that the Cavaliers can win this series in 6 or 7. But here's you stole my thunder with the biggest game of the series.
Because I want to ask you a question.
There's a saying in the NBA. The series doesn't start until a road team wins.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's my fear. Now, granted, I've got 57 years of Cleveland fans' skepticism at work here, okay? So forgive me if I sound either negative or skeptical. Home court advantage is game to game in an NBA series.
It sure is. Yep.
Right now, the Cavaliers have home court advantage.
Lose game 2.
If you lose game 1, the Knicks now have home court advantage.
In a major way.
That demoralizes you because
you got to get 2.
All the work we did to make sure we were the 4, not the 5. All the energy we expelled, gone in 48 minutes.
Got to get to 2.
You've got to hold serve. Not just 1, but 2, and here's why. You've got to win the first 2. Because if you go back to New York, the crowd that you spoke of, which will already be on steroids because they haven't seen a playoff team in so long, they're going to be so fueled for game 3, even if they come home down 0-2. Now imagine they come home 1-1.
Yeah.
They smell blood in the water. And they're going to be extra nuts on Donovan Mitchell.
Let me throw
because even though it really wasn't his choice, they wanted him, and Cleveland got him.
So let me throw you some LS hot sauce on this thing, on his two-piece wings.
Two-piece? I want a three.
I got 7-piece wings.
And a biscuit. What if Julius Randle go to thugging?
He could.
Like, because, he plays a physical game.
He can
now, who's going to match that on his side?
We don't have an answer for that.
And he go to thugging, and then the referees let him get the thug game on.
No.
We got a problem. We have a problem.
So they're gonna let. By the way, this is not my concern. I'm not scared. The physicality.
Yes.
Right? I'm not sure if Jarrett Allen understands the level he's gonna have to play in these playoffs. I think he's a nice guy. I think he flipped that switch and be nasty. No. I think when the fouls come, he needs to be dunking everything by the rim. He's going to need to be nasty in these playoffs.
So, I played for Tib. Tib was assistant coach for me when I was with the Timberwolves, right?
Right.
Oh, he smelled blood in the water. Oh, he going to tell them, oh, you going to hit them. You're going to hit Allen and Mobley. Let me see what happens.
He wants physical.
Oh, yes, I want to see what happens.
I'm going to see what happens.
We didn't see Darius Garland get knocked out.
We're going to see what happens.
Because
if we stand out here and let them have their way, we're too athletic. We got too much going. We lobbing. We breaking you off the dribble. So now how do I counteract that? I play a real physical game. That's why I say thugging, right? Because and it depends on how the referee calls. If he letting us bang around, right? Because be clear, everyone out here in TV land, be clear. The NBA needs the Knicks to be a viable commodity in the NBA. Yes, they do. They cannot have the Knicks off in the corner somewhere.
So what you saying is
they're going to let them play.
You not going to get them calls like that. Because to be truthful, I was going to go there, but I didn't want to go there already.
Get your money off.
When you go to New York,
that's the elephant in the room, and I'm glad you brought it up because the NBA, more than anything, needs the Knicks to be relevant. And they haven't been for 3 decades.
So let me stop everybody. Ain't no fixing the game. There's no fixing the game.
No, but they can set the tenor.
But I can speak to this, right? Bulls, Cavaliers, 89, the series of the shot.
Yeah.
We're staying in the Beachwood Marriott, right? And this was going for Game 5, that final shot game.
Yeah.
So we're on the day off. Scottie Pippen and I forgot who, I think it was Horace. We're sitting in the lobby because we got a lot of time to kill. We didn't already practice. We got a lot of time to kill. And I lived up the street in Warrensville. My mother and them lived in Warrensville. I didn't go home. I just stayed at the hotel with the guys, right? It was around the corner. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting in the lobby because we're tired of sitting in the room. CBS, this when the game was on CBS Sports.
Yeah.
On CBS. The CBS executive sports president and one of the guys in the NBA, they're staying in the same hotel we're staying in because that was the hotel. We're sitting there just talking. They walk in, they see us, and they walk over to us. And the guy says this to us. The guy from CBS says this. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna need y'all to win tomorrow. Because the winner was gonna play the Knicks in this.
They wanted a Chicago-New York matchup
in the semifinals, right?
Yes.
Not in the Eastern Conference, but the semifinals. Mm-hmm. He says this. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna need y'all to win.
Wow.
Because we cannot have Cleveland playing New York in the semifinals.
And that's the rule, not the exception.
And I sat there, I did like this. I was pissed. I was
jaw dropped.
I was like, what you talking about? And I took it from the standpoint, I'm from here. I'm from here. What are you talking about?
We can't have that.
We're playing straight up here. What are you talking about
here? We can't have that.
But you can see they have their favorites they want to see too for their various reasons.
Well,
they say I can sell a commercial in Chicago and New York, but I can sell one probably in New York and Cleveland.
And back then, the investment for the networks was measured in tens of millions.
Right.
Now it's in billions.
Right.
And I can tell you from having lived through this nightmare of the NBA playoffs from a TV side, there were mathematical formulas at the network, at ESPN, where they knew if certain series didn't work out certain ways and they didn't have the finals go 7 games, there were going to be a lot of layoffs.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, no question.
And the reason it happened is because when a 7-game series becomes a 5-game series, you lose
a lot of revenue.
4.5 hours of commercial revenue,
lot of revenue.
inventory. And that's not measured in thousands or tens of thousands. That's measured in millions because that's where the NBA contracts make their money, the playoffs.
And this is here, like I tell people again, there's no fixing it. This is how it works. This is how it works, right? The guys are just playing, but there are things circling around on the periphery that people are taking into consideration.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because the temperature in the room, the referees have to feel that sense.
Yeah.
And even if it's something as subtle as a comment from the CBS Sports president to the officials, hey, man, give us a show now. Let these guys play. They want to see them play.
Let them
Well, I
play.
don't want whistles.
Hey, God, come on. Let them play,
They know what
guys.
that means.
I'll flip that to the NCAA women's tournament, the final between LSU and, I'll go to Iowa and South Carolina.
Right.
So here's the deal. They're building a product.
Yeah.
Right? But in this product of the final game, the people tuned in this high number to see the stars play.
Sure.
Well, you done found out all the stars. The stars sitting on the sideline.
They ruined
it. That is the
They
because the
ruined
TV
it.
people are like, no.
Yeah.
And you think they didn't get to the NCAA and be like, hey, you better get a better crew in there because this is not what we're paying for here.
I felt like it was about the officiating crew.
Right.
And not the game.
And this is why when you get to the NBA playoffs, they have the best of the best. And the old heads know the deal. They're like, we're not here to be impacting the game like that.
In general, both when you played and today, that we know that the games are played differently.
Right.
Defense is a much bigger priority. Are they officiated differently? And if so, how?
They're officiated differently like this because you had a lot of older people who had been around for a long time, 20, 30 years.
Tony Brothers.
I mean, they had been there for a long time. And so the veteran guys know this, right? They know how to control the game, not to let it get out of control. And it's how you work the game. Like, you two banging with one another. I'm not calling foul on Jay. I'm not calling foul on you. I said, let me pull you together here, right? We're not having that nonsense here. Clean it up down here. I'm going to give you some leeway. They talk to you.
Yeah, they let you know.
Okay.
Hey, both of y'all.
It's like an umpire establishing a strike zone.
Okay, here's the deal. All right. And then we got out of bounds. I told you I was going to clean it up. You got to stop all that. Right. Then you respect it. But then you get some young people that come in here and immediately off the way, they blowing the whistle on you.
Yeah.
You got 2 fouls. You out 3 minutes. You change the whole dynamic
in general,
of the game.
would you say that the officiating in the playoffs leans more towards letting them play, or it's officiated perhaps a little more strict because they don't want things to get out of hand?
Well, it depends. If you got a young crew, the pressure, because you're going to get the pressure from the crowd and everything else, the environment.
Yeah.
You know, you may not.
Most of these crews, though, are veterans.
But you may have a young person in that crew.
In the crew.
Right. It is the ones that understand the moment. Like, here, we're not being influenced here, but we understand the mission. The mission is let the game be resolved right here. Now, this thing here, I'm going to just tell you, we better meet the moment in game one here, Jay, because if you don't meet the moment in game one here, so it's going to be a problem for us. Because you're going to be 2 games in the hole.
Let me ask you.
And the problem with losing even one of the home games, the Knicks have a better road record than the Cavs do. So not only would one win for the Knicks in the first 2 games give the Knicks a home court advantage, it gives them a distinct home court advantage because the Cavs have not been as successful winning on the road this year as the Knicks.
I'm expecting the people in Cleveland to be at a frenetic pace here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
I talked to some folks at the Cavs yesterday, by the way. They're
no.
asking everybody that's going to the game, get there early.
Right. Yeah,
they want the atmosphere in the building to
Electric.
be tip-off ready 45 minutes before the tip. So the game starts at 6.
I have played.
They want people there at 5 to 5:15.
I have played a playoff game in Cleveland. It was at the Coliseum. That game 5 was at a frenetic pace. It was electric in the Coliseum. So I know it can be done here.
Yeah.
The thing I will say this is,
We've seen it here.
Is this. I'm concerned about the layoff. That's a long time in between games.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a veteran crew, you may know.
12 days?
That's been a long time,
I
right?
think it was 12 days.
I was glad to see Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley playing. I said, let me play in his last game. Get a little work here.
You know,
I'll play long, but I got some work here.
But it's a long layoff.
It's a long layoff
even with
here.
that.
Brad, you know what's so funny about that is all of these things. The reason why the Knicks should be scared is this: if Julius Randle go off, he got 32. All right. If Brunson go off, he gonna go off and get me some 2-point shot. You get in the lane and do. All right, you got some 30 plus. See, but here's the problem with the Cavs. If Darius Garland go off, we've seen him get 50. We've seen Caris LeVert get 50. And we've seen Donovan Mitchell get 70. Now, I'm not saying that's all going to come together at once, but you could be off on a layoff. And the advantage that the Cavs got is that Donovan Mitchell going to come in on a new level. I feel like he going to come in completely locked in. And other people can be nervous, but he going to sense the moments. And when he knocked down a couple big shots, everybody going to be like, okay.
If we scoring 105 points in the game, Donovan Mitchell going to give me, 35? Max, 35, 40. So then you still got another 70 you got to produce. Mm-hmm. If they start letting you thug this game out, be real physical in this game here, what is going to happen?
We don't have an answer to that.
We
do not have an enforcer.
And I know Tibbs knows that. I know he knows that. Right?
And what does Tibbs do? He goes for the weakness.
Right. And
he's
so
the Belichick.
We're gonna know. You're gonna know in the first quarter where this thing is going. The other thing is you look on the other side of New York. Brunson from Villanova. He ain't scared.
No.
Julius Randle from Kentucky, and he ain't scared, right? They've been in big moments. They've been in big places.
Sure.
Now, everybody on our side ain't been in big places.
Most haven't.
They have not.
Most have not.
Right. So this is what we have to. That's why you need the guidance from the sideline to work the quarter by quarter.
Let's do this. Let's pick the series winner and give us the number of games. Brad, where are you going?
I got Cavs 4-2.
Okay.
4-2.
G. Bush.
Tight though.
I got Cavs in 7. They pull it together, and they run away from them at home, and they finish it off here at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
All right. I've gone back and forth, and I'm going to do it again. I wrote down one thing. I'm going to flip it. Partly because we can't all pick the Cavs. I hate to be the guy that picks against the Cavs, but I've got a lot of logic behind my thought. Tibbs gets the huge check when it comes to head coach. Now, in a regular season game, I don't really look at the head coaching matchup because they're playing checkers. But now we're playing chess. And Tibbs is a high-level chess player.
Yeah. JB had not been there.
I don't know what JB is in this realm.
We're going to find out.
I know what Tibbs is. And I have to give the check right now. Please prove me wrong. I hope JB proves me wrong. But right now, my fear is that Tibbs has a sizable advantage. Not slight. I think it's sizable.
I'm counting on Bernie Bickerstaff to be in JB's ear.
I hope he is, but he can't be in his ear during the game.
No, but he can give you some counsel.
I get that.
Because this is game, again, this is game by game.
I saw some things close and late out of JB in the regular season that give me pause.
Not getting the ball in.
Using a timeout, and then the play after the timeout, you don't get the ball in, or you turn it over immediately, or you don't get a shot off. I saw that this year.
And there's nothing against his staff. I mean, I think his staff does an excellent job. But here, I am a proponent for always having a veteran guy on the sideline in your ear.
Your bench coach.
Somebody who's been there.
Yes.
And because you're not going to get excited. I've seen this drill 100 times, and we need to be thinking about that. And we don't have that, right? Mm-hmm. Tibbs has it because he's had the experience of being a side guy.
He's that guy.
So he's the guy, right? So we're going to find out a lot about people here.
So I am giving a sizable edge to Tibbs.
I can't argue with
I can't ignore the body of work that we've seen in the regular season. I know the playoffs are going to be different, but I just felt like the Knicks match up extremely well against this Cavaliers team.
Have you tuned in to New York radio here?
No.
Oh my God!
Cocky.
Oh my God!
I know they are.
It's off the chain.
I know they are. They think that they're already scouting who they're going to see in a second.
This is like foregone.
How are we going to match up with the Bucks?
This is a foregone conclusion.
I know it is.
I
don't feel that comfortable.
I thought on Saturday in the barbershop I had a national show. I said, where do these New York dudes keep calling me from?
Yeah.
He was talking about, hey, you know y'all about to get swept, right?
I'm trying to wash out my Cleveland bias. I'm trying to wash out what I want to happen. What I want to happen is the Cavs in 4. But what I'm fearful is going to happen is the Knicks are going to win this in 7. I think they're going to win one of the two in Cleveland to start the series, and then they'll hold serve.
We're gonna find out, Jay, and I'll say this about Donovan Mitchell, right? Because we've seen it here. We've been mentioning LeBron's names. We've been mentioning certain people's names and how look. The reason we did not lose, even in the earlier rounds in 2018, I watched one of the worst Cavs team of all time.
LeBron James.
I watched LeBron James get the Pacers out of here, get the Raptors up out of here, then go to the Boston Garden in Game 7
get them out of here.
masterfully dictated what they were going to do.
But I don't think anybody will mistake Donovan Mitchell for LeBron James.
No, but we gonna decide whether Donovan Mitchell is a superstar of the highest length,
you're right.
or he's just a good player.
Would I be shocked if after 2 games it was not 1-1? A 4-5 matchup dictates that probably is going to happen, right? Those two are the most evenly matched teams in the playoffs. That's typically what it is, right? So I would not be shocked if it went 7. I would not be shocked if it was a split at home, right? Which turns the dynamic back to New York. So this is going to be quite interesting.
But in the first round, don't you give the edge to the team with the best player on the court if it's a first-round series?
Every series.
No, I don't tip here. I say he may have the best player on it. It depends on who's on the other side because I can understand. There have been, you can take people out of the game in just minutes, right? You just need to win in minutes. These games, if they're close, they come down to minutes.
They do, but they also come down to matchups. Before we leave this, Mikey, you had some graphics built on how key players in this series did against one another in the regular season, which, by the way, the Knicks won 3-1. They won the last one in Cleveland 2 weeks ago handily.
Handily.
And that is the biggest. I can't get that out of my mind. That's my last impression of these two teams. It was easy. This scares me. That one right there. I'm glad you called that one up first because there's another one that scares me. That one terrifies me.
Let me see. The thing about that, which is, so Brunson is on a mission. See, if you don't know the story about him and his departure out of Dallas, right? How Cuban didn't want to pay him the money.
They looking crazy now.
He forced him.
Now
to
he has a chance to prove Mark Cuban was wrong.
So he's like, I'm proving everybody wrong.
That's right.
So he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, right?
And his chip can be big at times.
Yes, see, Villanova, he don't care.
He does not care.
He don't care. Right?
But look at that. Guys, those numbers are terrifying. There's one other one that you brought up.
Randall
I think it was Mobley and Randall.
13 points.
13 against 30? 23. Okay. That scares me, guys. Those are key players in this series.
Randall's a high volume shooter, so he's going to shoot more times than Mobley, right? But the question is, again, you've seen Randall self-implode too.
That's why I think he is the X factor. If his ankle is bad,
he can implode.
He can.
If Evan Mobley is going to be a close finish, either first or second in defensive player of the year. The Cavs, we talked defense earlier. The Cavs have 2 elite defenders underneath the basket. If you are telling me Evan Mobley is a defensive player of the year, you should not have no problems putting him on Julius Randle.
Well, that goes to Brad's point about will Randle thug it up.
Yeah,
if he does, our guys can look small and invisible real fast.
And I'm going to remind you of something. When Joel Embiid was here the last time, right?
That's another one.
No. He went to the physicality game on him, right?
And we folded like a cheap
suit. We folded up.
We don't have anything for that.
Right.
No.
So I'm saying.
And Tibbs knows that.
And the only way you can get that off, the referee in the stripe, he got to be letting you get it off, right? If he call a loose game.
Again, New York, and when I say New York, I mean the league.
Yeah.
Park Avenue, they want the Knicks. They need the Knicks to be relevant for the TV ratings more than anything else. TV ratings set revenue in this league. And there's no bigger market than the Knicks, and they have been completely irrelevant for 3 decades.
And you know what?
They need them to come back.
And we need revenue, too. So, McNuggets,
we got business
get us some of that revenue, dog.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the other playoff series in a sec, but first we took a little poll on who our fan base thinks is going to win the Cavs-Knicks series, and whenever we ask the internet a question, it's brought to us by our good friends at PCC Airfoils.
It's going to be 85%.
If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits,
we're gonna find
PCC
out.
Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake Manor, Wycliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We put a poll up on YouTube here.
Okay.
All right.
We got 626 votes.
Oof.
Biggest poll maybe we've ever done. 96% are picking the Cavs.
You said
I
that.
love you, Cleveland. I love you. If nothing else, we're consistent.
I do want to read one comment in particular.
96?
90. I'm not kidding. Anthony, with my witness, can see 96%.
Can confirm 96%.
I do want to read one quote. This is my favorite comment because we asked, vote and then let us know how many games.
Yeah.
Dennis Dokes 1 says Cavs in 7, but also possibly a sweep. So that he's got it covered. He's got Dennis.
Also
Dokes,
could be the Knicks.
Dennis Dokes got it. So
all right, Dennis. Well,
the gentleman's sweep.
Here's what I love about that. In New York, they're taking the same poll. They're 100%.
Yeah, we ain't losing to y'all boys. We're not gonna do that.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Oh my God.